everybody, and welcome to our Town of Minto live COVID update. My name is Derek Thompson. I'm the CEO of the Town of Minto, and today I'm joined by, as you know, our Mayor, Mayor George Bridge, and Belinda Witt Graham, our Manager of Economic Development. First of all, I want to thank you for tuning in. We first started these Facebook Live updates earlier in the year at the height of the pandemic to keep our residents informed and educated about COVID-19. And we wanted to make sure that you had updates as we started to go through the pandemic. Today, we will be focusing specifically on the recent COVID-19 update and where we are in the second wave of this pandemic. Unfortunately, we have alarming case numbers now, and it's on the rise. And cases are getting closer to home. We cannot stress enough the importance of continuing to practice social distancing, wearing a mask, and not letting your guard down. We understand, though, the toll that this pandemic has had on our residents, our business owners, and we need to stay proactive and safe to protect our community and our businesses and our well-being. On that note, I'll hand it over to Mayor Bridge.
Thanks, Derek, and yes, well said. Just, a couple of weeks ago, we were sitting at 2 active cases, and I think we were feeling pretty good about what was happening, and we were able to keep our arenas open and other things we were doing. But as you know, it's just not us. This has really got to be the fall, the second wave, they call it the fall wave, and it's getting a little scary. As of today, we have 30 new cases in Wellington and 55 in total, which actually puts us ahead of both Dufferin and Guelph. So we're, as far as the Wellington Dufferin Guelph Health Unit, we were at one time the people that had very low cases, and we all felt good about that. So I just want to say that it's back, back in March, we have to really start to get a little bit more understanding of where we're going. Some of the good news you hear in the news, we have vaccines and rapid testing starting and coming, but those things won't get to us for a while. So we need to really be watching the ball in the next few weeks to maybe try to get ourselves back to maybe a little closer to what we were before. So I'm going to give you a little update from the public health unit they sent me today, and then we'll get into some other stuff. So effective Monday, the 16th, the Wellington Dufferin Guelph Health Unit will be moving to orange. So it, as outlined in the provincial COVID-19 response framework, keeping Ontario safe and open. Now we had some talk about this with our department heads, and we're not in bad shape. We're already doing similar to what was oranges already, so that's not, we have to do a lot more to keep us going, but just wanted to let you know where we're at. So if you go on orange, and we'll be getting out to people, and people can go on there and public health as far as restaurants and get all that information. But so please visit our public health website for specific updates and outlines of what it means to Minto. One of the areas that's of concern is the old, and you've seen it in the papers, the Old Order Mennonite community updates. So Dr. Mercer, the medical officer of health and CEO for the Wellington Dufferin Guelph Public Health, has issued a Section 22 order under the Health and Protection and Promotion Act, requiring all Old Order Mennonite churches and schools in the region to close, and its members of this community to follow specific public health instructions and restrictions on gatherings. So that was not done easily. I know, talking to Dr. Mercer, she was quite concerned, but we have to get people to follow the rules on social gatherings and where the schools are, similar to what we're doing in the public sector. This section orders have been issued to help address the growing risk of the COVID-19 in this community, in addition to an increase of COVID cases of the virus and 2 known outbreaks. The uptake of the public health measures have been low. So public health has confirmed cases within the community, but cannot conduct its contact tracing because this information is not being provided. So we're hopeful that the community will start to take this very seriously, and I think they're having communication with public health right now, and hopefully they can get back on track. keep people safe and stop the outbreak, further steps are required. The intent of the Section 22 orders is to immediately help stop the spread between households and keep our region as open as possible. So this adds to what I'm going to talk to you a bit about, the message from public health. So we've got a little lax out there, to be honest with you, and I see it all the time. I even myself, I have to be careful. Sometimes I don't think about it as much as I should. So when you're thinking about it, if we want to get back to maybe a better situation, then you have to look at not attending social gatherings held outside people's households. Don't let your children go to anyone's house if it's not where you live. Example, sleepovers, going out for dinner, birthday parties. We have to kind of stop that. Convert all discretionary social visits or gatherings into virtual format. Do not visit indoors in other people's homes. Keep it to physical distancing outdoor visits if such visits are essential. If you're letting other people into your home, consider whether them being there is truly essential, such as emergency personnel, such as EMS, fire, or police, essential household support, such as home care providers, service providers for things like household renovations, construction repairs, or housekeeping, one-on-one teaching or instructions, example, tutoring. If service providers are in your home, keep apart in a different room, wear masks, etc., as much as possible. So I would suggest that if we're going to be around people and we're going to be inside, keep everybody with a mask on. We now know that masks, not only in the previous, when we used to talk about this before, we talked about the mask protecting other people. If you're wearing the mask, we know now science has told us that both parties wearing a mask protects each other. So very important that we do that. So I'll turn it back over to Derek, and he has a couple other points he wants to make.
Great, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So there are two assessment centers in rural Wellington. One is located in Harriston and the other one is in Fergus. These assessment centers are staffed by the Mount Forest Family Health Team and the Wellington Healthcare Alliance. The location in Harriston is at Harriston Railway Station at 83 Arthur Street West. And the hours of operation are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 5. And you can book an appointment two ways. First by telephone at 519-843-8160, or you can book online at whcacovid.com. So on that note, I think, Mr. Mayor, there's some questions I think you want to take a look at, and then we'll come back with some more information.
Thank you, Derek, and thanks for the questions. I know it was a short notice, and as we maybe do these for the next little while, we'll definitely try to answer your questions. A couple of questions we did have. This is interesting because we've been talking about this for a while. Could I ask that we receive a report on the number of total cases we have to date just in the town of Minto, and also a number of current cases? Now, I can tell you that a lot of these cases are up in our area. They're in our area and they're Wellington North, but they're up in our area now. At one time, we didn't know that they were there, but we don't get an actual breakdown. So actually at our economic development meeting last week, this was brought up, and we're going to ask if through public health from the town council meeting on Tuesday, we'll probably ask them, send a letter asking them if there's why we can't have that breakdown. I know some of the other communities in the north of us, Grey Bruce and Perth Huron, they break them down into the actual towns or the areas. I think people, at one time there was a concern that if you knew that you only had 2 cases and, you know, maybe you get a little lax and it wasn't in your area. Definitely is in our area now. So you can trust me on that. We've definitely got a lot of it in our area. You're going to see more of it. So we'll see what we can do there. It's a public health thing and they'll have to be the ones to make that decision. And then next question, could there be some regular or maybe weekly updates in the town website? Okay, well, the answer to this one is we have a COVID-19 updates banner at the top of our homepage and on our website. Follow that link for a list of all new updates regarding COVID-19 in Minto, resources for businesses, general resources, and community service areas. The most accurate information, however, is on the Wellington Guelph Dufferin Public Health unit's website, and we have a link there to obtain easy access. And I go on that every day. It starts at about 10:30 or 10:45. We'll get our updates. You get to, if you go to COVID-19, you'll get the province's updates, but go to that one and you'll get the updates. And they have a lot of good information on there. They have other things that they'll talk about as well. So I want to turn it over to Belinda, who's with us today, because through all this process, we've been trying to keep our economy going. And I think that's such an important thing that we have to do. So Belinda's got a couple economic things that she wants to discuss.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Bridge, and good afternoon, everyone. As always, throughout this COVID experience, we've been encouraging people to continue to support our local businesses. And now, as we enter the holiday season and a crucial time for our local retailers, restaurants, and other businesses, now more than ever, we're encouraging you to shop locally this holiday season. Our businesses are doing everything they can to provide safe and enjoyable shopping experiences. So think Minto first when you're shopping for your gifts this season. However, if you're not comfortable shopping out in the public, many of the stores have gone online and are providing online shopping. And if you check out thinkmintofirst.com, we have a whole lineup of local businesses offering gift certificates. So you can't go wrong with gift certificates. And newly launched this week are some holiday makers boxes featuring product from our local makers in the community. So definitely please consider shopping local. This is a crucial time for our business community and they need you now more than ever. Secondly, in speaking to our businesses, this week we are launching across Wellington County a business retention and expansion COVID survey. This is a very short survey, 10 minutes. You can find the link on our website as well as the Minto Chamber's website. And we'll also be reaching out to our employers looking to have a chat with them about everything around COVID and what we can do at a local and county level to provide support as we move forward through this COVID-19 experience until a vaccine can be found and we can get more back to normal. So I just want to give our businesses a heads up that we'll be reaching out and looking to speak with you in the next month. That's all I have.
Thanks, Belinda. And just on that, just do whatever you can to help our local businesses. I mean, they've been great supportive of us over the years. And I know Belinda and her crew have been working hard on making sure that they can stay open as much as they can, or if not, keep the business viable. So it's very important that we do that. And the vaccine is coming. I mean, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but we're not going to be out of this for another probably 5 to 6 months at least, where we can get the vaccine out there and look after some of our situations. So bear with us and try to do what we're just talking about. And but by all means, support your local business as much as possible. Thank you. Derek, can you take it over from here?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for that update, Belinda. So I did have a question as well. It was around the rationale for why we opened up the arenas the way we did. Like we opened up Palmerston and Harriston, but we didn't open Clifford. So let me start with the way we opened up arenas was by demand. So it started off with we had demand from the local high school to run their hockey program. So that's why we started off in Palmerston. And also Palmerston, as you know, has a very large hall attached to the arena that allows us to be able to social distance teams in a really safe way and get people in and out of the building so that it was done with as much social distancing as possible. And then from that, we had more demand. So we chose to open Harriston at the time. And that was basically for the same reason. It was that Harriston also has a large auditorium that allows us to social distance teams and parents in a safe way and be able to switch between games in a very safe social distancing way. Unfortunately, at this time, though, that's as much demand as we have. But rest assured, if the demand for ice goes up, we will open Clifford. But right now, we don't have that demand in place at the moment. And as you can imagine, and really thank you to Matt Lubers for all the hard work that he's done, because given the provincial guidelines that change quite rapidly at times, it's difficult to manage this and make sure everybody's safe, but yet we can still have that interaction with our community that allows them to use ice. So that's really the answer to that question. So I'm just going to wrap up now. So listen, the town wishes to thank the public for their ongoing understanding during this unique circumstance. You know, together we can prevent the spread of COVID-19. Keep practicing public health measures and let's not let our guard down. So avoid gatherings and limit close contacts to only the people that you live with. Keep 2 meters apart from anyone outside of your household. Always wear a face mask or face covering. Wash your hands frequently. And really stay at home if you have COVID symptoms, even if they're mild. Get tested. As I mentioned earlier, there are two assessment centers in rural Wellington, and we have one right here in Minto, in Hairston. So get tested. Limit travel if you can, especially to and from regions with really high rates of transmission if you can. Remember to follow us on the Town of Minto Facebook and our Instagram. We do post daily updates with community information. And I just want to thank you again very, very much for tuning in today and for everything that the community is doing to help us get through this. And we really, and I'll speak for the mayor and Belinda, we really look forward to speaking to you again. So stay safe, wear your masks, shop local, and keep us proud, Minto. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Derek. And I guess that's a wrap.
I think so.